Very good morning, students, and happy Dasara to everyone. We are happy Vijayadashmi. We are going to we was seeing that one a closer look to Hampi, Muslipatanam and Surat. We have seen the first part architecture, how they was making their building in Hampi, that we have seen. Then next one we have seen the gateway to west, that was Surat, that we have seen. Then we want to see the third one, that is the fishing in troubled waters, and that is in the Muslipatanam. So we are going to see that one. The town of Muslipatanam or Machilipatnam, literally fish port town. What is the meaning of the word meaning of Muslipatanam or Machilipatnam? Word meaning it is fish port town. Please underline. Lay on the delta of Krishna river. Where it is? It is in the Krishna river, and it is the delta area. It's very fertile land. In the 17th century, it was the center of intense activity. Many activities was there. In which year? In 17th century. Both the Dutch and English East India companies attempted to control Muslipatanam as it became the most important port on the Andhra coast. In the Andhra, it was the most important coast. That's why Dutch people as well as English people, both of them was attempted to control it. And the port at Muslipatanam was built by the Dutch. Who built the Muslipatanam port? Built by Dutch. Please underline each and everything. It is important. Dutch and English people, both East India companies, they tried to control Muslipatanam, and because it was the important port on the Andhra coast. Then next one, the port really made by or built by Dutch people. Then a poor fisher town. It was described of Muslipatanam by Williams Methwold, a factor of the English East India Company in 1620. In this chief port of Golconda were the right worshipful East India Company half their agent. It is small town but populous, unwalled, ill built, and was situated within all the springs are brackish. It was the first poor fisher town. Afterwards, the convenience of the rod, a place where the ship can anchor, made it a residence for the merchants, and so continues since the Dutch nation frequented this coast. And it was really a poor people's coastal area, and but many people were very populous, where density of population was much. At the same time, it was unwalled port, and making of that port also was not good. That's why saying like that, ill built. And who was made that one later? That done by the Dutch. And who given this explanation? Given by Williams Methwold, a factor of the English East India Company. In which year? 1620. Please underline. The Qutub Shahi ruler of the Golconda imposed royal monopolies of the sale of textile, spices, and other items to prevent the trade passing completely into the hands of the various East India Company. The ruler of the this Golconda, that who was that? Qutub Shahi. Please underline what he done. He imposed. What he imposed? He tried to get the monopoly on sale of textile, that we know, cotton or silk textile, or different spices and other items. For what he done, the trade pass should not go in the hands of the East India companies completely. For that purpose he done. Fears the competition among various trading groups, the Golconda nobles, Persian merchants, Telugu Comte Chettis, and the European traders made the city populous and prosperous. Many what we can say trade group, they came and settled there. Which groups came? Golconda nobles. Please underline Golconda nobles, Persian merchants, Telugu Comte Chettis, and European traders. All the traders came there, and they started to settle there itself in the name of trade. So it became very populous as well as prosperous. As the Mughals began to extend their power to Golconda, their representatives, the governor Mir Jumla, who was also a merchant, began to play off the Dutch and the British against each other. Then next person coming, that is the Mughal representative. What is governor? What is name? Mir Jumla. Please underline. And he also was a merchant. That's why what he done? He started to play off with Dutch as well as English people. Then 1686 and 1687 Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb annexed Golconda. Then later the not only the governor directly who came, Aurangzeb came and annexed Golconda with the Mughal emperors. This caused the European companies to look for alternatives. That's why they lost their power. Both the East India companies, Dutch as well as English East India Company, they lost their power there. That's why they started to think about different alternative. It was the part of the new policy of the English East India Company that it was not enough if a port had connected with production center of the hinterland. The new company trade centers, it was felt, should combine political, administrative and commercial rules. What was the company rule? The production centers, if it is far away from the port, it will be very difficult. That's why what they are thinking, only thinking about the trade, it won't work out. So what they are thinking, they want to make a combination of political, administrative and commercial role in that particular area where they are coming and settling. All the area, they want to take the political authority in their hand as well as administration of that land, that area in their hand, as well as the commercial roles. Please underline all three words: campaign of political, administrative and commercial role. As the company traders moved to Bombay, Calcutta, present day Kolkata and Madras, present day Chennai, Masulipatanam lost both its merchants and prosperity and decline in the course of the 18th century, being today nothing more than a dilapidated little town. So then because of the Aurangzeb, the East India companies, both the Dutch as well as the English East India companies and other merchants also, they went different parts. They went to western coast as well as eastern coast. Western coast they went to Bombay, and eastern coast itself Calcutta as well as Chennai. So the Masulipatanam lost its prosperity, importance, then it becomes like a ordinary town. Then next part, it is new town and traders. In 16th and 17th century, European countries were searching for spices and textiles, which had become popular both in Europe and West Asia. The traders, what they was searching, what things they was collecting, European countries was searching for spices and textiles. Why? Because it was very famous in European and West Asian side. The English, Dutch, French formed East India companies in order to expand their commercial activities in the East. When we started this lesson itself, I said already we started the first lesson, introduction lesson. That time also we discussed how the rule it is coming in the hands of the East India Company, that we will see. We can see here the three countries, they are in last paragraph, last part we said two countries, Dutch and English. Again here we can see one more country, that is English, Dutch and France. How many countries came here in 16th century itself? Three major countries, English, Dutch and France. And both of them, what they are doing, they are forming East India companies. So when we are hearing the East India companies, don't think it is only for English. Then later it is coming the English because it is become very prominent. So in the starting, all the European countries who came here in India, they are starting their East India companies. Then for what purpose they started East India companies? Please underline: to expand their commercial activities in the East. For what purpose? To start the commercial activities. Eventually, great Indian traders like Mullah Abdul Ghaffur and Virji Vora, who owned a large number of ships, competed with them. And however, the European companies used their naval power to gain control of the sea trade and forced Indian traders to work as their agent. Then we can see many Indian traders was there before the Mughal emperors. That time itself we had many traders from India, like that two famous traders, that was the Mullah Gafur and Virji Vora. Like that many persons are there. In that two great personalities was this both, and they had many number of ships, and they was able to compete with the East India Company. Then what East India Companies means all three East Indian companies. Then what they are doing, the European companies, they are fighting in the to get the naval power over these traders, and they are forcing the Indian traders to work as the agent for East India Company. Ultimately, the English emerged as the most successful commercial and political power in subcontinent. Not only India, in the Indian subcontinent, who is becoming more prominent one, more powerful one, not only in commercial way, even in political way. Please underline that one. English East India Company emerged as the most powerful and commercial political power in the subcontinent. Then, okay, we will continue in next video.